Uh, okay, everybody. I'm just trying to fix my crazy hairdo. Just got out of the shower here. I'm laughing, but I really shouldn't be laughing. Number one, I was having a problem here. You guys can hear me. You guys can see me, right? We're all good on that. I hope so. Let me know. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Look, we got to talk. Thank you, Hippie Josh Temple. I love that name. It's great. Lava's here, everybody. Love you guys. So look, let me just give you a quick rundown on what happened. What's happening here with the what happened today with. I don't even want to say this is a market because we haven't had a market in a very, 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 very long time. But the freak show, maybe that's more. I don't know on point here. We have to really cut into this and talk about what's going on, the common denominators, what we can expect, especially out of the mouth of the creature himself, Powell, today. I don't know how many of you actually paid any attention to what it said. It's not human either. It's a thing. Okay. I think we're pretty much on the same page. But with regard to the stock market today, okay, we did put on some gains. I mean, nothing dramatic here. We got, I don't even remember what the percentages are, but the Dow put on a gain, the S&P put on a gain, the NASDAQ put on a gain. The 10-year yield did come down, not dramatically, but it's moving around a lot. You know, we have a liquidity problem on a massive scale. The dollar here did put on a gain today. Nothing dramatic either, but a little bit. We're still below that 100 that on the Dixie there. With regard to gold, silver, and crude got hit. You got cryptocurrency basically flat pretty much across the board. Now let's cut into what's going on and what's actually happening here. So this is no surprise. I mean, most of you already know this, but there's something buried in here in just this headline that should, look, it's not going to surprise you. Look at this headline here. Fed meeting, U.S. central bank holds interest rates steady. This is a setup. Okay, warns. The Fed is warning of a higher risk to jobs. Let me explain this to you. They know mass job losses are coming. For the private sector, like on a scale you're not going to even believe. They know that. They, in collusion with world leaders, they're working methodically, diabolically to take the system apart, stealing wealth right from the economy, stealing wealth right from we the people, and shoving it right up to the 1% and 2%. So they know there's no risk here. It's a lock. Now, they see higher inflation as well. They see higher inflation. Again, where's the accountability? It's temporary. It's transitory. None of that was actually true since day one. And you know that if you follow this blog. We've all talked about it for 1,000 years. We knew it was a lie. No one's being held to account here. And we're still hearing, well, you want to see a cute cartoon? This is what's being set up right now. We need lower rates. We need a weaker dollar. All this is a setup for what's about to come. Understand, nothing makes the central bank happier. Nothing. There's nothing than hearing a world leader say, hey, you know what? We need a weaker dollar. So what does that do? That allows the Fed to create more currency to weaken the dollar. Every dollar a central bank, in this case, the Fed, is called upon to issue to lower rates here, because that's how it works here. They got to get into the market. They got to buy all the debt, of course. That's how they keep rates suppressed. Central bankers go into full orgasm mode. They have to each take turns running into the bathroom because this is exactly what they want to hear. No better friend to a central banker than any world leader who's saying we need lower rates and we need a weaker dollar. That's it. You guys all know that. It's too much. So that's where this is going to go. So again, tell Greg Mannarino one more time, because I forget these things here. Monetary policy. Inflation is a byproduct of, mismanaged monetary policy. No. Managed exactly the way they are playing it. So we, the people of the world, get to suffer in an environment where inflation continues to rise. And this is not, again, people, look, man, this isn't just happening here. This is happening around the world. So let me ask you this, okay? Why is it that, let me see, how could we turn this all around in a nanosecond? You know the key? How could Donald Trump save the entire freaking world from this curse? Well, institute the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. No legislation, by his own pen. In 7 seconds, he could end the Fed. And this would start a domino effect, erasing central banks around the world. But we need lower rates. We need a weaker dollar. If, in fact, President Trump was to issue the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, the purchasing power of the dollar would be astronomical overnight. The Fed would close down overnight. But you see, we need a weaker dollar and we need lower rates. You can't make it up. There's no way to do it, but that's just a fact. It's an incredible thing to witness. So, what's the common denominator? I wasn't even gonna cover this, but I'm gonna cover it again with you guys. If you look at the world today, all of the so-called developed economies. Okay, let's talk about the so-called developed economies, where we, the people living in these developed economies, okay, are being forced to suffer in this central bank run twisted freaking system. And world leaders calling for lower rates, and world leaders calling for a weaker currency, a weaker dollar. I mean, you want to talk about a twisted system? You're in it. You're in it as deep as it can possibly get. So what's the common denominator here? We have world central banks issuing their currency to the world. These are private institutions that have nothing to do with the real government, but they run the entire show. They control the economy, monetary policy. They're supposed to be controlling inflation. But again, what's going to happen here? They're going to issue more of their currency. They're going to buy more debt, just like they're doing right now. You understand that QE is already in effect here. The Fed's buying it all. Central banks, that's their goal, to own it all. Sound about right to you? I think we're kind of on the same page. At least I hope we are. If you're new here, welcome to the real world. This is what's actually going on. But the common denominator is the currency. People, as many times as I say what I'm about to say, it just doesn't sink in to people's heads. Let's go back. Let's take a step back to this. This man, this rendition of a man here, there's not even a man sitting behind the Resolute desk. Neither was Biden. No guy on this planet, I think, berated Biden more than this guy here. I had 10 names for him, and not one of them was very nice, were they? This guy here too, same thing, different suit. Again, what's going on? There's still more war, more currency devaluation. They're serving the central banks. There's no difference between the two. They want you to think there is, but that's just part of the game too. But with this guy here who went to Wharton Business School, he seems to have forgotten, again, and I'm just going to tell you, because we're getting a lot of new people thanks to you guys and girls. It's interesting. As soon as I showed this, we got people who just jumped out of here. They couldn't handle it. They cannot handle the truth. We had over 1,000 people here a second ago. Now we got 996. I love that. Let them run because they're scared. Because the truth is a weapon. It's a blazing sword that cuts right to the bone. This guy here, again, missed two fundamental truths when he went to Wharton Business School. Number one, to have a strong economy, what do you need? A strong currency. Number two, to have a strong currency, you need a corresponding rate of interest high enough to support the purchasing power of the currency. But this is what he's screaming from rooftops about. This game with the Fed here, it's a joke. They think the joke is on us, but the joke is on them. And maybe I'm oversimplifying this, but those are, in fact, the one and two fundamental truths when it comes to an economy and the currency. It's a fact. Look it up for yourself. You guys and girls, some of you go to business school, go ask your professor if Greg Mannarino is lying to you. I understand that there's some other things too, like a balanced budget, but what we got here is a $1.32 trillion spending bill. We're already running $1 trillion deficits every quarter, but let's throw a $1.32 trillion spending bill. Is this a balanced budget? Is this a conservative budget? Is that what you think it is? No. Of course, you know it isn't. It's a joke. And again, they think the joke is on us. The joke is on them because we're too smart. Look, man, All you need is a couple of functioning brain cells. What's the common denominator? What am I trying to get to? The common denominator is we are in a full-blown currency crisis. We're in a full-blown liquidity crisis. Does that sound familiar to you? Well, maybe if you're brand new here, you haven't heard this before, because you're not going to hear this out of the mouth of this guy, and you're not going to hear it out of the mouth of the Federal Reserve, Powell. No, but he's going to warn you that we're going to see more job losses. He's going to warn you that we're going to see more inflation. Duh. And can I please get someone say duh? Because you can't make any of this stuff up. But that's the way it is. I think we're on the same page here. They're demons. You're 100% right. They're not human. None of them are. They serve a very dark force. They don't serve we the people. I'm sorry, but that's a fact. Anyway, so I'm going to read this to you because, again, what's happening here, why are we, the people who live in so-called developed economies, okay, why are we, those of us who are forced to live in the central bank-run system here, all in the same boat? What does it come down to? Currency crisis, liquidity crisis. And how do they fix it? By adding more debt into the system, by pumping it with $1 trillion quarter deficits, by pumping it here in the United States, a $1.32 trillion spending bill. That's how you do it. It's like, literally, I've said this before, it's like trying to save a drowning person by throwing more water on them. Does that make sense to you, this analogy that I'm using here? Because it should really make sense to you. Now, I want to read this to you because this is the real situation here. This is the real situation as to why we are in the boat that we're in. A global currency collapse. It's real and it's accelerating. But no one's going to tell you this. You think this guy is going to tell you this? Calling for low rates, calling for a weaker dollar? Let's see. How do we fix the situation? You know how we fix it. And even if President Trump doesn't want to institute the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, we need dramatically higher rates. Why? To return purchasing power to the currency. But is a central banker going to tell you that? Oh, no, because then that would weaken them, wouldn't allow them to inflate. Is this guy going to tell you that? No, because this is what he's calling for. How does that work? Why is the President of the United States in bed with the Federal Reserve? Because they all are. Okay, that's who their bosses are. It's not you. Anyway, let me read this to you. And I broke this down. This is in your inbox. So if you go to your Substack, you're going to see this. So again, bear with me here, guys, because I have a lot to talk about. And it's an interesting thing. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. So yes, no. And I said, please feel free to agree or disagree with me on this. I don't think this is really hard to argue with, but I'm sure there's someone out here that will. That's fine. We're living in the collapse. And I use this word for a reason. I want let me go on here before I go off on a tangent. We're living in the collapse of the greatest coordinated theft operation in human history. So why am I saying that it's collapsing? Well, let me just say this straight, and that's exactly what I wrote here. The global currency collapse is real and it's accelerating. This isn't just inflation like the Fed wants you to think it is, or maybe President Trump has no idea, because see, a weaker dollar means that inflation goes up, not down. How does that work? Does he not know that? He went to Wharton Business School, didn't he? He's smarter than Greg Mannarino. He must be. And he must be smarter than you, because you know that a weaker dollar is going to make everything cost more, because it's going to take more weaker dollars to buy anything. But I want a weaker dollar. Yeah. How does that work? Make that one up. Let's move forward here. So this isn't just inflation. This is not a cost of living crisis. It's a planned demolition. Sound familiar? Of fiat currencies across every nation simultaneously to force a reset. That is the key. That is the key to why you and I and everyone here, wherever you are in the world, living in some developed economy, living under the rulership of some central freaking bank, why we're all in the same freaking boat. Does that sound right to you? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Think about this. Every nation on earth is locked into the same central banking model, fiat currency, debt issuance, and interest-based manipulation. Really? Who would have thought of that one? World leaders are fully complicit, not victims. Fully complicit, not victims. But we have to talk. We're going to have even more fun. Wait till the fun part. You haven't even seen the fun part yet. We're going to have a blast, you and me, in a moment. You get the popcorn ready. So think about this. Every nation on earth is locked into the same central banking model, fiat currency, debt issuance, and interest based manipulation. World leaders are fully complicit. They are actors in a script written by the freaking overlords. So what's the plot? What's the plot? You know what the plot is? Let me just tell you in like a sentence here. Collapse the purchasing power of the people's currency so we can offer them a new one that we can control completely. Does that sound about right to you? Ding, ding, ding. Yes, it does. Let us move forward. This is not incompetence. This is not poor policy. You've heard me say this a million times, but I'm going to say it again because I just have to, okay? It's deliberate economic warfare against you and I. All right? What are they doing? Now, I made a list for you. Let's cover this list here together. I wasn't going to, let's just do it. So this is what they're doing right now. And let me know if you agree here. You ready? Let's have some fun. Inflate the currency, suck its purchasing power out, print endlessly, suppress rates, drive up asset prices and the cost of living, steal the people's time, labor, and savings invisibly. Let the system break, create a crisis moment, claim the old system is unsustainable, introduce the solution, central bank digital currencies, programmable money, expiring balances, behavioral controls, social credit mechanisms. Why? Every nation is participating because they're not sovereign. Because they're not sovereign. They're supposed to be, but they're not. They are subsidiaries of the same global financial machine. The illusion of national independence hides the reality of centralized control through debt. Does that sound about right to you? I'd be willing to bet that some of you are actually applauding right now because that's all truth. But there are some that are going to argue that that's not the truth. No, Greg, you're wrong. Let us move forward. Now, this is an interesting headline here from Market Watch. You see, there are some people here, like the person that wrote this article, that are paying attention. This is today. A currency market avalanche is heading for the US dollar, and the tremors started this week. All right, maybe they're a little bit off base here, but that headline, for the most part, I think they're on the right page here. This is an accident, right? Just by accident. This is a comedy of errors that got us here. Really? I don't think so. Now, this is pure propaganda. We're waiting for something to happen. I'm not even going to bring it up, but I'm going to say this. So, Lutnick here, a beautiful, illustrious commerce secretary here. The deal, it's done. He said done once. He said done twice. He said it 3 times. We're still waiting for that deal. So do you actually believe that Trump officials to meet with Chinese counterparts? And here's what to expect. You know what you can expect? Watch this. Nothing. And do you know how we know that? Do you remember the deal when Trump was president last time? We got no deal. It was a done deal. No deal. China, unfortunately, strung Trump. I did not say chump on purpose, okay? Trump. They strung him along like a puppy. And no deal after 4 years. Make that up. Now, this is the fun part. Yeah, we haven't had any fun yet. We're just about to. Trump promises an announcement as big as it gets. This is his exact words are, you can see this poll I'm taking here. Are you looking forward to Trump's very, very big announcement? It's confused about the day because he hasn't gotten the script yet. Yeah, it's true. Let me read this to you. So Trump promises an announcement as big as it gets. The president provided no other details, kind of like Lutnick, interesting, but suggested he would share the news before he leaves for the trip for the Middle East next week. President Trump repeatedly talked up a future announcement. This is what he said, one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject. We can't know because we're just the American people. We can't know these things. And this came up during an Oval Office meeting. Are you ready? Now, we will have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets. Quote his words. And I won't tell you on what. We're not worthy. Pharaoh, sir. Should I fan you? Should I bring you some grapes? What would you like today? We're not allowed to know this stuff here. And he's saying that it will be made either Tuesday, Friday, or Monday. Now let's talk about this. This is all fun here, all right? So those of you that may get aggravated or triggered, this is just some fun. We're gonna have fun, you see, because we're allowed to have some fun. Laughter, well, does anybody remember laughter? You remember Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin, the live version, Stairway to Heaven? Does anybody remember laughter? That was what, 1971, 72, 73? I don't even remember when that was. I was just a little kid. But we're gonna have some fun here. How many people you think are going to get triggered? TDS. You know what TDS is? Let me tell you something about TDS. It's used all the time. It's a muzzle. They try to muzzle you by saying you have TDS. You see, these same people, free speech. I'm all about free speech. But if you try to utilize free speech, you got TDS. It's a muzzle. They're trying to muzzle you. So what you do when you hear that, when someone says you got TDS, you speak louder. You speak more boldly. You call them out. Really? You support free speech, but it's TDS, huh? It's a muzzle. They try to muzzle you. It's hate speech. If you don't worship the ground that Trump walks on, think of him as the second coming because he's the chosen one, Then, of course, it's hate speech. They hate it. They can't stand it. But good. But they're all for free speech. Make that one up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. Okay, I wasn't even going to go here, but too many of you asked me about this. So I made this as like a comedy. So Trump teased a very, very big announcement coming Thursday, Friday, or Monday. It seems he's a little bit confused as to when he'll actually get this script. It's just all. I agree with the people who say they don't care because this is all script. It's not real. And it could be something profound, but whatever it is, it's not out of his mouth. Let me explain this to you. This very big announcement, as big as it gets, he doesn't even know what it is. He was told that he's going to make a big announcement. Just like you know why Bidenstein was the perfect puppet? Trump is the perfect puppet is too. But Bidenstein, unfortunately, he was old and he was suffering from age-related dementia. He was just, they could just say anything and he would just puppet it. But Trump he's more devious. Okay, anyway, let's talk about this. So he didn't get the script yet. I think we're pretty much all on the same page. Exactly. Laughter is music of the soul. Trump diarrhea syndrome. That is freaking. I never heard that one. That's fantastic. Anyway, so this is me just having a little fun, people. I want you guys and girls to have some fun. So let's dig into what this could be. Now, I said, people, lighten up because, this is going to get attacked. It's just a joke. The dollar reset announcement. We need to move away from the failed system of the past. I'm announcing the creation of a new digital dollar, and that digital dollar is going to save you. It's plausible. He's been screaming about the Fed. He's been screaming. I'm going to show you this piece of artwork, which I know all of you want to see again here. Okay. It's plausible. He's been screaming about the Fed. This would frame him as the solution to the central bank scam while helping the Fed roll out their beast system. Yeah, with the populist mass standing behind it. Now, this would break the system. And I'm launching a new Trump coin, a new one, or Trump Pay, a new currency for an age of American greatness, a new age, a Trump system, a new age. Now, this would be the ultimate grift. I'm joking here, guys. Meets propaganda moment, and it would play right into the crypto culture that she's playing into. The cryptocurrency of the world, $1.5 million per seat to be at Trump's crypto conference. 1.5 million per seat. You think he's playing to you? You think that's what he's doing at 1.5 million per seat? I don't think so. Let's move forward. Let's have some fun. This is a really good one here. And this, let me just read this to you. I've created the American Redemption Committee. We begin trials against those who destroyed this country. That was supposed to start on day one, wasn't it? But now we're actually going to start doing it. I'm playing around, guys. Am I pissing anybody off? I'm sorry. That sounds righteous, right? Mass control, selective justice, power consolidated under the guise of redemption. Pure Babylonian mimicry. How about this one? I made a deal with Elon. Here we go. Yeah, it's the deal. Neuralink will save us from AI. Remember, AI is the demon, but use it to drive your car. Use it to manage your finances, control your life as well, and even educate your children. Oh, you didn't know about that executive order. You think Greg is making this one up too? Oh, yes. President Trump signed an executive order in April, went right under the radar, allowing AI to educate children. You think I'm lying about that one? You think that Greg is making that one up? Oh, maybe you need to look into it yourself. But it's the demon. Let the demon educate the children. Work out beautiful. Don't you think? That's a wild card year, but again, we're just having some fun. Now, new economic plan. A national digital wallet and Trump-controlled rate guidance blaming the Fed while mirroring their agenda. Populist language, Babylonian goal. It's the ultimate trap. The savior of the system, he pretends to fight. Now, come on, guys. We're just having some fun here. It's your turn. Make something up. Make it up. I made some things up. Maybe you guys want to make something up too. I had to pick it up. My office is a disaster area. It's a disaster area. I got time slips all over the place. Look at this one. What's this one here? I ran an 868 at 157. No, I couldn't pull my parachute. No, this one. My parachute failed on this one. Another 157 mile an hour run. I pulled my chute, the cable snapped. It wasn't any fun. Jonathan, thank you. You're right, dude. They're all laughing at us. You know, it's funny. It isn't funny, but the world is laughing at what's happening. But let me tell you something. We're laughing back. You, as a member of this pride, man, it's just laugh back. Yes, Joe Potter, just about 1,200 horse on a good day. It's kind of a nice animal here. Yes, we need to find peace. We really do. But unfortunately, we're just going to get stuff like this and screaming from rooftops about, a system that is destroying all of us here. The common denominator is the currency. How can I explain this to people another way? Do you guys and girls see the common denominator? Because you see, people are told to look here. There's this new war here, Pakistan, India. It's about to go nuclear. We're funding wars all over the place. New war in Yemen here, $1.32 trillion. But what's the root issue? It's the currency. And what's happening to all of us who live in these so-called developed economies under the rulership of a central bank? The currency is being devalued. The currency is being debased. World leaders, not just him, they're all saying the same thing. Do you see the common denominator? Or does the truth still elude you? Does Greg have TDS? Let's muzzle Greg. Let's say that he has TDS. These same people have TIGs. I made up that TIGs live. I couldn't even believe I came up with that. Trump is God syndrome. It's a silly thing. We don't need to be tossing names back and forth because I don't want to muzzle anyone. I want these people to reveal themselves to us. They want free speech, but don't speak it. It's control by contradiction. Think about what I'm saying. I did a whole paper on this. I did a video about it. They believe that they could control you. Think about that. These people are so self-inflated, okay, because they believe that their leader is all powerful. He can be free of any kind of condemnation of any kind, or talking bad about him. You can't put him in his real light because then you got TIGs. So these same people who have some kind of an inflated sense of self, who believe in free speech, don't use it. That is exactly control by contradiction. They're brainwashed. They are so dumbed down and their IQ levels are so deeply in the negative that they can't even see it. They're blind. You see what I'm saying? Oh, God. Anyway, guys and girls, listen. Anything you want to cover before we get out of here? What is this here? I can't even read this, man. It's going too fast sometimes. Free as long. Exactly, Lava. You see what this beautiful person, Lava, just said here? You can say whatever you want as long as it's what they want to hear. It's an incredible situation here. You can have free speech, but you have to say what they want to hear. What kind of a world is that? What kind of a world is that? You want to tell me what that's all about, people? Because you're all way smarter than me. All of you are way smarter than me. Anyone miss Janet Yellen? All right, you ready? Craig, you look different. You kept talking about liquidity and my liquidity, and you look really different now, Greg. You look really different. Janet Yellen, Janet, you will always forever live in my heart. You're always going to be right here. I tell you, man. You're absolutely right, Timothy. You see what Timothy just wrote here? Social credit. They're going to link the currency to a social credit score. And you think I'm making that up? Here's another guy who knows exactly what's happening here. People, we have got to come together. I make a lot of jokes about things. I joke through this entire thing, but I'm joking about something that's deadly serious. They want it all out of us here, all of it, everything they can possibly get out of us. And it looks like, look, man, you and me, at least we're trying to do something about it. I'm trying to maybe even turn it into something funny. Pork roll's here. This guy, Pork Roll, he's the lead vocalist of our band. He's heard that Strat back there play, which is not even a real Strat. It's a knockoff. He's heard this Les Paul Custom, which is the real deal. He's the real deal, too. Thanks, Pork Roll. Good to see you here. He's got the coolest son ever. This little guy named Jacob. I call him Mini-Me. But he's not too mini. He's almost as tall as I am these days because Pork Roll is like enormous. In fact, the band's name is Gigantor. It's named after him. Anyway, guys, look, I think we're going to get out of here. If you've had a good time here, I want to hear about it. But the stuff that we've said here is really true, all of it. And look, don't let anybody muzzle you. Don't let them put their, free speech, but only say what I want to hear. It's an incredible thing. It really is. People like me are going to end up in Alcatraz. Trump is opening up Alcatraz, or he wants to open Alcatraz. And again, did you guys see this segment? And I urge you to look this up for yourself. I'm not making this up. I'm not calling Trump out. Jonathan, thank you. The bond market. Yeah, it's the time bomb, bro. It's a time bomb. The dollar, the currency altogether, it's all units of debt. You all know that. But Trump said something shocking that I don't think a single president has ever said in the history of this nation, going back to George Washington. He said he's not actually sure if he has to back up the Constitution with regard to due process. I think about what that means. He's putting himself above the Constitution. He's putting himself above the country. He's putting himself above you. And I think there's a great parallel to be made here between Pharaoh and President Trump here. And I've been talking a lot about this lately, especially if you follow my newsletter. There's a direct connection here. We all know what happened to Pharaoh, don't we? Yeah. Another man who put himself above everything and believed to himself to be God. His people thought he was God. Well, he got taught a lesson here. 9 times the Lord warned him to obey him. 9 times. The 10th time, the death angel came, and the death angel took his own son, his legacy, and crushed his army in the Red Sea. I mean, people, we know all this stuff, don't we hear? It's all right there. It's the book that you and I follow. It's not the book that they do. I think we're pretty much on the same page here. At least I hope so. This guy loves you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump doesn't like drag races. Does he even know what drag racing is? I don't know. Guys, look, my Copo is out of commission right now. It's all apart. I got the engine apart right now, unfortunately. Check this out. This is Bradenton Motorsports Spark. They used my car. That's not a rendition. That's my car right there as an advertisement for this event. And unfortunately, I can't even go. This is Saturday here at Bradenton Motorsports Park. This is a good guy. I can't remember his name. He owns this demon here. It's all of us track guys, we all get together. But how do you like that, man? This is awesome. Steve, shout out to you, buddy. I didn't even know it was there. But that's my Copo, and that's my buddy's car. Sorry, bro. I can't remember your name. But anyway, have some fun. Guys, listen. Isn't that cool, Pork Roll? It's awesome. Love you. Love you guys. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We got this, people. All right. We're having some fun here, but this is really serious business. So please share the video, get it out there. Go check your inbox, man. I sit here all day, and I write things. I'm like a little maniac writing stuff for you because I think it's important. I really, really do. All right. See you guys in the morning. All right. That's all, folks.